Someone asked me what the final straw was in my recent relationship that allowed me to walk away with relatively zero pain. And honestly, I was so ready to be done with that relationship that instead of sadness and regret, I just feel nothing but relief and freedom. In one of my last TikToks, I talked about how I had to actually go through the relationship pattern and toxic cycle many, many times, and that I could only go no contact a few times. It was too hard. And that sometimes we need to go through those toxic patterns over and over again to be ready to let go. And the idea of no contact is just that it's an idea and it's not really realistic. For anyone that can go no contact, I applaud you. And I've done it in my life before, but with this type of toxic back and forth dopamine hits and hot and cold type of relationship, it was just too hard to do. So, what was the final straw that finally led me to be in this situation that I'm in right now, where I feel really good and I'm ready to move on? It was actually a pretty minor and uneventful last moment that caused this breakup. It was simply the cycle being repeated for the 8 millionth time and me just snapping. We had gone on this really nice trip, which we did a lot. We would travel, and I think traveling and getting away was a way for us to escape the realities of our lives and to escape the familiar dynamics that made us both so unhappy. This was actually a pattern that would take place when we got back from trips. He would go really quiet, and I'm on this high because we've just spent all this time together. I feel like we're stronger than ever. I feel so much closer to him and bonded to him. And then he would just go into his isolation and avoidance, and the communication would die down. Usually, I would just chalk it up to him needing personal time and that I should self soothe and let him have his avoidance, let him have his freedom from me. But I had gotten to the point in the relationship where I had grown so much and I had realized that my needs are important too. And maybe I am anxiously attached. And for the most part, I do self soothe, but it was okay for me to rely on my partner and tell him how I was feeling. And so, as I've talked about in earlier videos, I did. I approached him and said, "Hey, I'm feeling insecure." And he responded in his same typical way that he always did. He took it as a personal affront. He felt criticized. He was very callous and cold. He had literally no sympathy for me. He wasn't even like, "I don't think I did anything, but what can I do to make you feel better, babe?" He literally just attacked me and honestly mocked me for having emotions and feeling insecure. We had a really toxic exchange back and forth. We never actually resolved things. We just stopped talking.